I will be responding to 4 specific issues that have been mentioned by the Pakistani Foreign Ministry. 1, the incidents of 15 July. 2, the incidents of 16 July. 3, the allegation of downing an Indian drone by Pakistan. And 4, the allegation pertaining to an Indian helicopter maneuver close to the line of control. On 15 July, around 8:50, Pakistani Rangers resorted to sniper fire in the Akhnur sector, in which 1 BSF personnel sustained injury. The fire originated from a Pakistani Rangers post called Khalid Munir. This was followed by firing by flat trajectory weapons on our posts, and then in a different area by mortar fire. Separately, also in Akhnur, at about 10:15 hours, a mortar shell fell on our village Bhaiwal Bharat, in which an inhabitant, a lady, was killed and 3 others injured. As per our procedures, DIG BSF in Jammu sought to make telephonic contact with Sector Commander Sialkot 4 times between 10:45 and 12:30 yesterday. He received no response. Upon receiving this information, our National Security Advisor spoke to our High Commissioner Raghavan in Islamabad at 11:30 hours yesterday, asking him to take this up with the Pakistani government. We sought an end to the firing as well as corrective steps on their part. Immediately thereafter, NSA spoke to High Commissioner Abdul Basit on similar lines in New Delhi. There was no response from the Pakistani government to our démarche. Instead, intermittent firing continued in the Akhnur sector till 16:15 hours yesterday. Therefore, at 1700 hours, NSA again spoke to both our High Commissioner, who had taken up this matter with the Pakistani Foreign Secretary immediately, and with High Commissioner Basit. At 17:30 hours yesterday, High Commissioner Basit finally got back to NSA, conveying that the firing had been initiated by India and that an Indian drone had been brought down by Pakistan. The Pakistani Foreign Secretary spoke on similar lines when High Commissioner Raghavan contacted him again at that time. NSA naturally inquired of High Commissioner Basit why, in that case, the conversations were not initiated by the Pakistani side. He offered to check the drone allegation, but pointed out that this was unrelated to maintaining peace and tranquility on the border. He emphasized the seriousness of the unprovoked firing by Pakistan and conveyed that we would retaliate if it continued. Accordingly, yesterday night, our forces retaliated. This morning, High Commissioner Basit spoke to NSA, mentioning that there had been casualties and damage on the Pakistani side. On 16 July, at 01:35 hours, there was an infiltration attempt by 3 suspected terrorists in the Jammu sector at Indreshwar Nagar. They were given covering fire by Pakistani post Jamshed. As our forces retaliated, the exchange of fire expanded to include some nearby posts. The Pakistani side also resorted to mortar firing, which was responded to effectively by us. In view of this firing, which continued into the morning, I instructed our High Commissioner in Islamabad at 08:15 hours to urgently speak to the Pakistani Foreign Secretary. He did so, and I myself also had a conversation with High Commissioner Basit at 08:40 hours today. Our High Commissioner in Islamabad had a meeting with the Pakistani Foreign Secretary at 09:15 hours this morning. This meeting was requested by the Pakistani side yesterday evening, presumably in response to the day's developments. The Pakistani Foreign Secretary handed over a note verbal that refers to developments of 15 July that were raised by the Indian side the same day. He also orally brought up the morning's exchange of fire. Through the note, the Pakistani government has now sought to shift responsibility for the firing on the Indian side. Two additional issues were raised. One pertains to the alleged downing of a drone purportedly from India. The photograph of the drone in question indicates that it is not of Indian design, nor of any UAV category held in the inventory of the Indian Armed Forces. It appears to be of Chinese design and is commercially available off the shelf. Insofar as the allegation of the helicopter maneuver is concerned, this has already been taken up and settled through an exchange of hotline messages between local formation commanders at Titwal on 12-13 July. The helicopter flight was in connection with a counter-terrorism operation in which 3 terrorists were neutralized. The Pakistani side raised the issue of our helicopter flight, and we had clarified that it was well within the mutually accepted distances from the LOC in India. That the Pakistani government 4 days later is raising a controversy on a settled issue speaks for itself. At UFA, when the Prime Ministers of the two countries met on 10 July, it was agreed that DG BSF and DG Pakistan Rangers would meet. It was also agreed that our DGMOs would meet thereafter. We remain committed to steps that contribute to ensuring peace and tranquility on the border. However, there should be no doubt that any unprovoked firing from the Pakistani side would meet with an effective and forceful response from our forces, nor will we let down our guard against infiltration and counterterrorism. Cross-border terrorism. Thank you for your attention. I'd be happy to take questions.
Foreign Secretary does not have too much time. He has to go for another meeting, so please keep your questions very short. Okay, yes, Ashish.
And no supplementaries.
And no supplementaries, yes.
फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी, मेरा सवाल ये है कि जब इस तरह से उफा में टॉक्स के बाद लगातार पाकिस्तान की तरफ से क्रॉस बॉर्डर फायरिंग, गलत आरोप भारत पर, आप कह रहे हैं कि भारत कमिटेड है बातचीत के लिए, एनएसए लेवल की टॉक्स ऐसे माहौल में हो पाएगी जबकि आप भी खुलकर कह रहे हैं कि क्रॉस बॉर्डर फाइटिंग नहीं रुकी तो भारत रिटेलिएट करेगा, ऐसे में बातचीत का स्कोप कहां है और क्या होगी और प्रीपोन करने का कोई गुंजाइश है क्या एनएसए लेवल टॉक्स?
नहीं, देखिए एनएसए लेवल टॉक्स अभी तक तय नहीं हुए, माने एनएसए लेवल टॉक्स होने जो होंगी वो तय हुआ है, कब होगा वो तो पोस्टपोन की, माने द क्वेश्चन डजंट अराइज. व्हाट इज आवर पोजीशन इज वेरी क्लियर, व्हिच इज we remain committed to steps that contribute to peace and tranquility on the border. But if there is unprovoked firing, if there is infiltration, if there is cross-border terrorism, there would be a response.
You know, one of the mechanisms that was also agreed upon in UFA was that the BSF DG and the Rangers, they would meet, and the DGMOs, especially at a time when again the hostility and the tension seem to be rising along LOC and IB. Isn't this the appropriate time then to have such a meeting, if at all that meant anything?
Well, thank you for that opinion. I think in our case, what will happen in the next few days, I really don't want to predict. I am here today to really explain to you the sequence of events and give you the details so that all of you have a clear picture, because my sense is that there were different parts of it which were coming out, and we think it is in fairness, we should give you a very frank and transparent account of what has been happening.
Akhilesh Suman.
Sir, in UFA we were there and the talks were very positive. We were also surprised that how foreign secretaries of the two countries came. So what happened? Why Pakistan went in such a good talk and such a good joint statement came, and then thereafter such a nuisance is being created? Was there any pressure on Pakistani side for that?
No, look, I don't think it would be fair on my part to speculate. I mean, my only purpose in coming here is to give you a very straight account of what has happened on the border. Why someone opened fire on us is something really for which they are answerable.